Where's my season 2 announcement? Where is my season 2 announcement? I just need a season 2. Somebody, which studio, announce it, please. I'm just, this is one of those cases where when you get that last episode and you're just like, you're just watching the timer on the end of the episode as it reaches its max timeline. You're like, where's that card that says season 2 announcement? I need it. I need it right now. I need some sort of sign. I'm still coming to grips with the fact that the show is done, and I'm beside myself. I think this was a fantastic way to end the season. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel like some bad cliffhanger happened, but at the same time, please more, please more. I am kind of glad that it didn't jump back over to Desha, because I think the thing that I was mentioning with my last episode impressions is I kind of assumed that the way they were going to close it was to show Desha going into that chamber for the Ranking of Kings reward, and it having some sort of sign that, yeah, he chooses the immortality or something like that, that gives us a hint of what's to come. And like I said before, I think that they did very respectfully in this episode to not put anything in there that would lead us to really want something. Like, we need something right now. No, it feels like a closure that feels very solid. So, I don't want to say this, but if we don't get another season, I'm not mad. Because I think the way this closed, I felt very comfortable. Now, again, I still have that lingering thought of the Ranking of Kings system, the gods, all my theories around that. And yes, technically Oaken being chucked into the mouth of a fish, which does upset me because I think if anybody has been following my coverage throughout this entire series, the one thing that I've been hoping for is some sort of closure for Oaken. I feel really, yes, I understand that he's done terrible things, but it's never been in his right mind. He went insane. I just want him to have rest. I just want this redemption and this rest for Oaken because he was a good person who was driven mad by something, like I said before. I believe it is the immortality that was bestowed upon him by the Ranking of Kings leaders, who I think is the gods. And that's not of his own choice. That was a choice that was something that was corrupted him. And it wasn't his own decision. So that's the only lingering thing that really bothers me. But other than that, like I said, everything else, it kind of played out how I kind of assumed it was going to play out. I knew Boji was not going to become king. Well, I didn't think he was going to become king, but then they were given king. And I knew he wasn't going to stay there. The moment that they bestowed that upon him, I was like, whoa, this is kind of shocking. Maybe they'll do a little bit of stuff with the kingship. And then the moment that Kage walked away, I was like, oh, okay, that's going to be his out. He's going to run after Kage. He's going to give up the crown. And that's how we're going to end it. Because it's really hard for a writer to tell a really fun and adventurous story when the main character is literally sitting at a throne answering pleas from the people all the time. So it made sense that they didn't kind of leave it there. But yeah, opening of this episode, really cute. I guess we're going to go on the mindset that Daida does love Miranjo and does want to help her seek redemption. And that was the good thing about the whole thing, is this writer does love the concept of forgiveness, and it's hitting heavy on it with this whole story. Is despite all this stuff, she has suffered herself. She has suffered at the hands of other people for so long. Let's forgive her and give her the chance to make amends. And to have that moment where she does see all these people that she's wronged above her, like, yeah, technically she didn't wrong her mother, but she did choose a path that was against her mother's wishes, which was against happiness, but more for self-interest. And then also to have, yes, Boji's mother accept her and, in a sense, forgive her was a really nice redemption. And to see this idea that she wants to push forward to correct everything, to endeavor to create happiness to other people alongside Daida was really sweet. I did love that. And then, yes, to have Healing kind of accept that despite everything. Okay, are we shipping this? Did anybody else notice that Healing go over and grab Dorsh's arm? Are we really shipping this? Do we now have a Dorsh X Healing thing happening here? I'm for it. I'm for it. I mean, technically, Bose never really loved Healing, and Dorsh has always stood by her side. So despite everybody else in this entire kingdom turning their back on Healing, Dorsh was the only one that never did. Dorsh was the one that stood by her side the entire time, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I'm for it. The moment she grabbed his arm, I'm like, yeah, Dorsh, get her. It was great. But yeah, that was great. And just Daida accepting Boji as being the lead, or the king was fantastic. Boji kind of taking a step back for a minute, but Kage being the one that gives him that inspiration. Healing noticing that as well was a great thing. And yeah, that celebration was fantastic. And oh yeah, them Kage pointing out to everybody that, oh yeah, by the way, Boji could read lips, which totally throws Domas off. Healing's obviously bothered by it, but everybody else, like, they had Bebin, I think, and Appius, they're like, they don't want to accept it. Like, no, that definitely can't be. He cannot read my lips. Was really great. But yeah, cutting forward, a couple interesting scenes happen. We obviously see Boji becoming king. He's obviously a little bit upset because he doesn't see Kage around. That's obviously bothering him. Everybody notices that that's bothering him. I like that even though Domas has just learned that he can read lips, he still slips out statements that he doesn't think Boji sees, which is that Kage chose to leave at his own volition, and that obviously bothers him. But another interesting thing that happens was, and this gets me to wondering what sort of connections possibly Bebin has, or at least maybe the snakes of Bebin has with Kingbo, or at least Kingbo's father. Because we knew that Kingbo was saved by the snakes. He was taken down by Oken, the snakes came and took him away. And they obviously resuscitated him and helped him back to health, but then it cuts forward and he's thanking the snakes and he walks forward as they're trying to take Oken back to the underworld. And he comes out, busts open this rock, releases Oken, chops his head off, throws it, keeps him from attaching to it, and then says, I got my revenge, and then leaves. But like I said before, the thing that I'm curious about here is if there's any connection that Kingbo, or at least Kingbo's father, may have had with Bebin or the snakes. Because it seems like he's not a great person. And now granted, they like to save a lot of people, but that seems like it's very out there for them to rescue him. So I don't know. We might, hopefully maybe we'll see something of that later on, hopefully, of the season. But yeah, like I said, this hurt me seeing an Oken getting thrown out like this. Like I said, I understand Oken is supposed to... This is the writer. The writer knows how to write characters that are more than just Oken's an evil guy. Oken does have this past self that was very righteous and very chivalrous, and to see that he's just nothing but this evil entity that needs to be discarded really does kind of hurt. Yeah, Kage obviously runs off, tries to start a new life, not stealing, but actually doing good work, but there's still that anti-Shadow Clan nature that people have, which I think will play into future things with the concept of Boji wanting to create his own kingdom. Maybe he wants to create a kingdom where Kage would be accepted, which would be nice. I mean, he technically could easily have had, them announce out that Kage was a huge part of his kingship and that they would have accepted him at that point, but maybe it's something to create it from the ground up rather than just to cause people to have to change, to create that change from the ground up. But yeah, we all knew that Boji would eventually run out there, go back on his adventures, and join up with Kage, but yeah, eventually, after him staying there for a while, Healing was the one that gives him the push that he needs, which was really nice. I still, till this moment, I don't even question my choice of Healing being in best girl of this season because she's so fantastic. Her character is so good. For her to go out there and really tell Boji, look, he was your charm. I noticed that when I seen him pushing you forward, he is your charm. He is your good luck charm. You need to basically hone it. Take care of that charm so that it takes care of you. And she said specifically that was something that was taught to her by her teacher. So I'm curious what that was all about. I know that Healing, it seemed like she used to be some sort of healer or a nun or something like that. So maybe her trainer that taught her healing possibly bestowed that upon her. It'd be interesting, maybe in the future we'll see some more about her history before Bose came and took her away. But yeah, it was just an absolutely beautiful scene with her really giving him that nudge. Like, if this is something you want, go do it. Basically setting him free. And what she technically does. It seems as if Boji at that point relinquished the crown to Daida and then left. And when he meets up with Kage, which was absolutely beautiful scene. They pulled that off so well. I knew the moment I seen the snake, I'm like, that's Bebin's snake. Well, I knew the moment that Bebin noted Kage leaving, I'm like, he's gonna keep track of him. Like, I knew Bebin at that point was not gonna let Kage just run off. Bebin knew the importance of Kage. So seeing Kage walk away, he's like, yeah, I'm tracking this boy. I know eventually Boji's gonna want to know where he's at. And sure enough, Healing basically tells Bebin, go get. It's presumably told Bebin to go get him, which was fantastic. That scene with Boji running and jumping over him, and then he looks down and his eyes start going watery because he just noticed Kage. Oh, it was so good. It's just that usual. I love this. I love this show, and I'm gonna miss it so much. Just Boji, we support you forever. And now we know that Boji is now he relinquished the crown. He's going to start his own kingdom, or he's going to learn more about the world, grow more, and then yes, he's supposedly going to create a kingdom just like his father did. His father, that kingdom that they were at was the kingdom Bose created. And so he wants to follow in his father's footsteps by creating his own kingdom. And again, that could be that kingdom that has that acceptance of Kage. It's a kingdom that's born and grew by the people that stood by Boji. And we'll see how many of this current kingdom are going to follow him in that way, because it looks like when Healing called out to them, pretty much the big four all showed up. So I'm not sure if the big four are going to be with him. I don't think Dorsch is going to leave Healing, but I can assume maybe Bebin would follow him from the darkness. I'd be curious to know. I know for a fact Hokuro and Domas are for sure going to be at his side from the very beginning, but we'll see how much of a distance they have in the forward story. Maybe Boji and Kage will travel on their own while everybody else kind of follows him from a distance. But yeah, I really want to see that future and what they're gonna grow into. And like I said before, I know that a lot of the story going forward is gonna be about Desha getting whatever he gets from the Ranking of Kings reward. Hopefully, I started to really like Desha, so I don't really want to see him go down a really dark path, but who knows? But yeah, this is the sucky part. I love this show so much, and I just right now I'm imagining that if I don't get some sort of announcement with the next couple months, it's going to be really hard for me to not to just start poking in the manga. I don't have time right now, so I would love it to be a show, but this is definitely one that I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for, because this is a very magical show. It's going to be very hard for me to do a review of it. I am going to do a review of this show. I don't know. It's one of those ones where I don't know. I even as I've done reviews for 12 plus years of different things, including anime, video games, and stuff. This is one of those ones where I dread reviewing it just because everything about it screams you're not going to do it justice. No matter what you say, you're not going to do the show justice. This was a absolute gem of a show, and I loved it from beginning to end. The characters are so dynamic. They have so many different facets to each character. The writers, an extremely not cheesy way of really exuding forgiveness in so many levels is just top notch. I absolutely love the writing. Yeah, we'll see. But I definitely appreciate you guys joining me on a weekly basis as we did impressions for this show. Was an absolute fun ride. Definitely loved the support from everybody. It was one of our better performing videos on a weekly basis, and it was a lot of fun to go through. I think this show just has, with the characters with so many dimensions, it makes it really easy to really speculate on where you think characters are going forward. And plus kind of that little bit of a hint as to this overall story that could possibly be picked apart. Like I said before, the Ranking of King system and the gods and all that kind of stuff, which I think is really fascinating. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what's the episode. Did you love this finale? Are you looking forward to more? If you see anything on a sequel, let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon. I'll throw our tips link in the description below. We definitely appreciate everybody that does. And y'all take care.